Queen's Challenge, episode 6. My subject today is the illusion that the corrupt have had circulating in everything, that they are making some sort of loss, isn't the best thing that's happened to Earth for a long time, because it is. Because otherwise all the processes before never led up to anything more moral. And now on Earth, a lot of things that were suffering in more extremes don't. It's just not something that's physically possible anymore. But what they have been doing is getting you to rebel against yourself. You know, talking about anti-government stuff, saying that you want to be like a traveller slave or whatever, just to be around them, but you don't. So basically, all the things people have said lately are kind of like quite void if they want to talk about right and wrong, because they're too much involved in the wrong to really care for it in any other way of sort of misleading you, whilst addiction still reigns supreme. So that's the truth. I don't really believe a word of it. They're just sort of like saying it so they can own some of the description and lessen it as the better description comes in, who is really justified or not between us. And none of you are justified as me, because I've spent so long in comparison not interacting with the poison to take some of it on as normal. We're actually a fault, but poisoned is poisoned. So it makes you highly irresponsible to me, and I can never experience something better any time we make contact. But you've always got a tone of voice you can project back from me to lock me into the motion of being in the wrong, even though you are. I can't really make stuff that positive at the moment. I'm sort of being negative by, embellishing the truth. Earth was a terrible place. When I was born, you couldn't even raise your voice to a certain enthusiasm for something good without someone grimacing at you or making you feel abnormal. So as I said, it's going to be a long journey. But the more that real morals take a majority trend, the less those guys can even relate them. And they use other people to do most of it anyway. The ones those people aren't doing things, like eating meat or criticising the vulnerable, they've got no chance. They're just going to have to go without instead until they're changed and can be with the people that are less poisoned. Until finally, in the future, who actually did this, which is a single female, is actually starting to make contact with us and doesn't have the option to project things at us, has to speak from only rawly her and what she's done, until the reflection is so finite in her that it's impossible for her to think about it in a positive way again, and she will have to do what she didn't do the first time, which is just bond to a complete positive finite state with the rest of us that's impenetrable and impossible to stop, because it is just also complete and inclusive between us, and an infinite harmony will continue, and that's that. You never have to think about this stuff again. But we're still talking 12,000 years minus what we've just done of my life here since 87 November. But it's always worth keeping things in perspective, because then moving towards it becomes realistic and on all our tongues, and in our actions more fibred. That light's where Ant Middleton, if you know him, is a con artist, and he's trying to say some of it because his language is a bit closer to mine, but it's never the same thing. You know, Poseidon and Athena are actually better to say less than say more as he does. I'm not liking my life at the moment though. I like the fact that I'm more mature. I'm starting to leave all those toxicities behind, you know. But until you lot have caught up with me a bit, it's just going to be me against the world, really. Right, all the way through it. You guys are going to find it hard to actually feel it the same way I do because you haven't, and you're going to be preoccupied with your toxic infection to put yourself first with more shallow value, just to feel substantiated in the event. So it is the greatest thing to ever take from me to anything else. At least I'm not stuck in a planet unsure of what anything even is, in one cruel layer of my body. As my heart rate goes on, soaring where we're going and what's happened. But all the things that feel good, you know, not give you a sense of love or depth and people's care for you, are all tainted. So if you subscribe to a lot of things like that, you will be insane, and you will be working for evil. So I assume once I've left them behind long enough, I'll have something about me that makes me feel more substantial, at least, knowing I'm doing the right thing. And some credit will start coming in as more people join me instead of stay with them.